I still remember the day my dad brought her home. 50 years later, she's still here, waiting for the restoration we always planned. I've considered your offer, and my counter is $1,100.
Keep coming straight back.
Easy now.
Ramps are down, boss.
This winch is really earning its keep today. We gotta get this thing up the ramp without it falling apart. All right, everyone, it's finally here. Check out this wreck of a 68 Charger. We're at the new shop, and this is where the restoration begins. Yeah, the corrosion is extensive right here by the door. As you can see, the dry cleaning results are in. It's completely free of loose dirt and ash, but the severe damage remains. All right, everyone, welcome back. As you can see, the 68 is here, and we are finally ready to start the dismantling process.
Okay, lift on 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Watch your side, it's rusted through. Welcome back to the workshop. This is the current state of the 1968 Charger. We've stripped it down completely and are assessing the extensive fire damage. We've completed the rust removal on the Charger. The metal is clean, we've documented the holes, and it's officially ready for welding. As you can see, the patch sits completely flush with the original metal. That's exactly what we want before we tack it in place. So we run a continuous bead of this specialized sealer directly over the welds. This totally seals the seam,
So what we're doing here is using the hammer and dolly to smooth out this distortion. It takes a lot of practice to get the rhythm right.
You want to make sure the tang aligns perfectly with the saddle here before applying pressure. Okay, gently lowering the crankshaft now. We want to make sure it seats perfectly in those main bearings. A slight rotation to check for any binding.
We're carefully lowering the cylinder head onto the gasket now, making sure it aligns perfectly before we apply the torque. We're installing the lower control arm assembly now. I'm using the torque wrench to ensure we meet the precise specifications for the ball joint.
With the seal seated, we apply the grease and carefully slide the piston in. You don't want to rush this part, ensuring that smooth hydraulic movement we need.
Okay, bring it down real slow. Watch the clearance on the firewall. Just a little to the left, hold it there.
So as you can see, the chassis is finally complete. We've got the new suspension and the rebuilt engine installed.
This solvent is great for cutting through the burnt grease. We need a completely clean surface before we can even think about applying the filler.
Here it is, the 68 Dodge Charger, fully primed in the booth. We are just about to lay down that iconic B5 blue paint. Look at that B5 blue. The metallic flake is just incredible under these lights. Absolutely flawless finish. The key with this B5 paint is taking your time. We're keeping the RPMs low to control the heat buildup on this Charger roof. Using two towels here, one damp and one dry, to get this windshield absolutely spotless before we apply the ceramic coat. All right, seating the new housing now. We've routed the harness, making sure every connection here is factory clean and secure.
That B5 blue really pops now.
Yep, the front end is finally done. Looks perfect. All right guys, getting this grill aligned perfectly is key. Now we'll secure the bolts with the power tool and give it a final polish. Look at that B5 blue shine.
We're installing the driver's side door handle now. You have to be super careful not to chip the paint on these old Chargers.
All right guys, we're hooking up the harness now, making sure these connections are solid before we power it up. Just got to make sure this is perfectly centered before we torque it down. Listen for the click. Just getting the driver's seat bolted down now. You want to make sure these are properly torqued before we move on to the harnesses. From a burnt wreck to this flawless B5 blue. We're doing a slow pan here just to document how uniform the finish is down the whole side.